I'm super excited. We have a special guest today. Um, he's been, as far as here at the Bake Shop, we've been talking about Alex for a while. We've had a meeting, I believe it was 2 weeks back, talking about growth and how to grow um, your overall business, finding the sharp people, getting people started. But I'm super excited to be introducing Alex Abuyuan. Alex, are you there with me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can, man. Loud and clear.
Great, great. Well, I'm excited to have you here, man. Please, I'm gonna hand it over to you, man. I got my notepad here ready, waiting to take some notes, and I'm excited to have you as a guest speaker, man.
Wow, awesome. Um, will I have sharing privileges to share my
Absolutely,
screen? All
absolutely.
right,
We can
cool.
make that happen.
Awesome. Well, thanks everybody. Wow, what a great leaderboard, man. I love leaderboards. I love seeing all these great names and people that I'm big fans of, like yeah, Nick and all those guys. And of course, Hutch has been around for a while. And Mimi, like Mimi rocked the call last week, didn't she? I just love listening to Mimi. She is so passionate about everything, like passionate about everything. So, again, I'm a big fan. So it's great to see all in the context of the Davies organization, and then of course Jeremico and I go way back, back in the day. We look at each other and it's like, man, we've been doing this a long time, right? So it's so awesome to see my brother Jeremico kicking butt. And I used to go up there all the time when Jeremico, remember, we only had like maybe 5 or 6 people in that meeting room. And I'd go up there and serve that team. And, I just love being around Jeremico because he always had this smile, the Jeremico smile, right? So anyway, well, this is the first time I had a chance to do this call, and I'm honored that Stephen, asked me to be on it. So I'm going to have to come up with my A game. I was teasing Steve, and I go, "You're not going to be out in L.A., are you, watching the Dolphins?" He goes, "No, I'm traveling." He goes, "I wish." Anyway, and they did pretty well, I guess. So, kudos to the Dolphins. Steven's a mad fan. But Stephen and Holly, Jeannie and I go back from, back in the day, right? We always say back in the day, but we've grown up in the business together. We were actually young once, 20 something years ago. And I've always admired he and Holly. And what's great about Stephen, not only his sense of humor is just, second to none, right? But just his desire to serve people and just the way he thinks about stuff, right? What I love about our conferences, our events, is that when Stephen teaches, all my people just so turn on to him. It's like, oh my gosh, he was like one of the best. His stuff, they're talking about the way he kind of teaches. He's a great teacher. And, some of his stuff is very, like you got to take notes. It's like you're going to college. You're going to, Stephen Davies University, right? And you're in between the jokes. He's teaching some really good stuff. So my folks are always excited to hear Stephen teach. So you guys certainly are blessed to have a great leader like Stephen Davies running your shows. So I really admire your team and all the things that you guys are doing to really make the business go. And if I can add a little bit to that, I'm really pleased. So anyway, well, let's get rocking. I know that we were one of the things that we were going to talk about is really how to treat your business like an asset, and that's something I've been really on the theme lately, and it comes out of, well, let me tell you, like all our growth. So let me show you the growth, and I don't care if I'm not scared. Sometimes people don't like to share their numbers because they want to hide all their warts. It's like, I don't care, man. I'm at the point in my life where, the warts are the warts, man. I'm proud of my warts and proud of my deficiencies because I'm always I'm always growing, right? People that are afraid of, showing their warts and their deficiencies are people that have a massive ego problem and chances are they'll probably never get over what's holding them back, right? So as you can see our growth, this is my base shop. Okay, so I have a big ass hierarchy, as you know. We did over $1 million issue paid last month. And what's great about all that is I override all of it, which is like, nothing to be ashamed of, right? I mean, talk to me when you do $1 million plus issue paid last month, and, we'll compare notes and you'll be smiling just like I am. But, distribution of the production is also important. So I made a commitment to build my base shop at Breakthrough last year. And it's interesting how Breakthrough did a number on me, like in a big way. That's why you need to go. But you can see that my numbers beginning my base shop, this is just my base shop, from January 1st with 6 unique writing agents. You can just kind of start seeing the explosion here in June with the number of writing agents. You can see our writing agents, starting out, not very many, right? But then starting in May on, our unique writing agents went up, and you see our production just started jamming, through here, right? And, and actually those are real applications, look at 58, 55, 49. So they weren't all annuities or IULs, honestly, right? Because you can look at the app count. The app count really speaks to that. And so I get this question, Alex, you're really smoking now, but what are you doing? What happened here? And so the stuff I'm going to share with you, that there are several reasons. I'm going to share just like I shared with Stephen's team. By the way, there's part of me that I take a certain amount of credit for working, but really the blessings are blessings, right? I really, give God the glory, for the blessings he's given me. And I think there's also an element of it's my turn now, I guess, right? I mean, when you see some base shops going down, you see everyone kind of going up and down. And I do think that there are certain decisions I made that made a difference. I'm going to share those with you. But at the same time, I don't really want to take, I don't want to sound like I'm this know-it-all. Like God knows I'm still learning. Okay. So I'm not, I might have this big ass ring. I'm sorry, this big butt ring here, but this is just, doesn't mean anything other than I happen to be sitting on a big pyramid. It's a pyramid. Come on, gang. I just happen to be on top of it and I'm holding on, I'm holding on for life. So please don't ever think that I'm saying this in any kind of authoritative way where I'm like the be all end all and know it all. I am not. I'm just here for the ride. I've been blessed because God has blessed me. And I've done enough of the right things to maybe merit a certain percentage of this. So I'm not going to say 100% is because I'm this smart guy. Okay. It's just I decided to work. And we're seeing the blessings now. And it actually is a fruit of prayer. So, please, I hope you don't get that from me, that I'm this, arrogant guy, that I really don't want that impression at all. So everything I'm telling you is just stuff that I've learned, and maybe it can help you. I hope it can. I know I got to keep this to 30 minutes, so I'm going to try to be brief. But I think that my story and background is really how it sets everything up. Okay. And I think that's an important thing for you guys to know, right? So, several years ago, about 3-4 years ago, I was really kind of stuck in my business. I mean, I was overriding a big group. We were averaging $500,000 to 600,000. Sometimes we popped up to 700,000, but it was sort of kind of maintaining. And I just couldn't break out of I was stuck. I was stuck mentally. I was stuck with insurance, and I wasn't getting tired of insurance, but I was getting tired of the results I wasn't seeing. And so, Andy's big. If you know Andy, he's big on making money. And the insurance gig is not his only way of making money. He started making money in other things when we first got started, he started investing in real estate and apartment buildings, and he was trying to get us to invest with him. And, some things turned out and some things did not, but he was always like making money while he's making money while he's making money. Well, I started to see that, you know what? Why don't I do the same thing? So I started investigating, and I started a couple other businesses, a software business and a tax strategy business alongside the Alliance. And I was also building this business. I never stopped recruiting, never stopped building it, but I needed a fresh perspective on my business when I started these other businesses. And I did, I got it. I totally started getting mentoring in the software, primarily software as a service, SaaS businesses, which I'm a big fan of. And so I built these businesses to the point where I'm making as much money outside of the Alliance as I am in the Alliance. But what it did was it gave me perspective and insight from different businesses that allowed me to understand what I was doing with my business or what I was not doing with my business. Okay. And so it really started at Breakthrough. So Breakthrough, let me tell you, you got to get there. There's a bunch of tickets starting to free up. You have to get there because it made the most significant change, one of the most significant changes in my life, because it got me to get rid of the things that was holding me back in the insurance business. I have these two other businesses that are rocking and rolling, but I was like frustrated, like what is blocking me from applying the same principles to my business? And it was just this junk I had in my head, and I don't mind telling you that that I had to overcome stuff. And so everything that's been happening to our business now is a result of my other businesses that I've learned and got mentorship from other people. But the main thing was Breakthrough. Breakthrough, I got rid of some stuff that I didn't know was holding me back. And I talk about it all the time, but I think it's real important to know that sometimes there are things that you can't identify. And it's the things you can't identify that's holding you back is what Breakthrough resolved for me. And my business has blown up as a result of the things that I learned at Breakthrough about what was holding me back. And honestly, I don't know that I would have made this much of it. It would have made, I don't know if the results could have happened without going through Breakthrough. So that was just my story. So if you have a chance to go, I'd really highly recommend it because it broke me free of what was limiting me. Okay. So October is where things changed because I made decisions, and then I decided to implement the affirmation cards and all the things that Mark Casetta taught us. And I told Mark this, a couple of months ago. I said, dude, the reason why we're blowing up is because Breakthrough. And he was there actually, he's going, wow. Not that he should be a surprise, but I totally give credit to what he did for me. Okay. So and we're making some serious jack now. It's unreal. Like I said, beyond just the money I'm making in the other businesses, this business is totally rocking. Like when you have 100+ grand going into your account just on the insurance business side, I mean, it's silly. It's silly. So let me kind of share with you some things that I've learned in other businesses that I apply here now. And it's really this concept of buying your life back. And I never, that's why I could run a couple other businesses, because I learned these principles in these other businesses where I can buy my life back, where I have plenty of time to build the insurance business. This is what I've learned. I've learned that people say it's simply as duplicating yourself, but I'm going to change your kind of mindset and framework of having enough time to think differently about what you're doing. Maybe the way I changed my mindset, because there's this thing about, duplicate yourself. Well, that's a MLM terminology that I learned in the Amway business, but I didn't understand that there's a methodology and a framework of thinking about it in the context of building a business. Like I said, my software business is where I really learned this, and my mentorship from some big software guys, software as a service guys, this whole idea. So I'm going to share you one of the main things that I've applied to my business. Here's a principle. The principle is don't hire to grow your business, hire to buy back your time. Okay, so let me say it again. Don't hire to grow your business, hire to buy back your time. So in fact, our business, the insurance business, is the ultimate business for this idea, for this principle. In my opinion, even more so than software. Okay. Don't hire to grow your business, hire to buy back your time. So let me see if I can, clarify that. Okay. And here's the reason. Like, I don't care how hard you work. Like, let's think of our business, first of all, as an asset. A lot of people build and grow their insurance business only to own their own job. Like, if you are, like, if you're selling and you love selling, God bless you. Okay. Okay. I'm not saying anything about people that just want to sell. Just know that you own your own sales job, right? You are the owner of your own company. You're the boss, but you're also the employee. Okay. And if you're not thinking about building your business as an asset, what's that mean, Alex? Well, it sounds like some big MBA type word, but think of it like this. You're building and investing in your business so you can grow to the point where someone else values it enough that they want to buy it from you for 5 to 7 times or 10 times the annual revenue. Okay, it's just a very simple, the EBITDA, but I'm not going to get too crazy on you, all right? Let's just make it very simple. Like if you make $1 million a year, someone wants to buy your business for 5 million, right? That's the idea, building it as an asset that grows. Now, why would someone want to buy your business? Because you built it to the point where you don't need to be in it for it to continue to produce income, monthly recurring revenue is what we call in the software business, MRR, which is ARR, annual recurring revenue, but it's ongoing revenue. It's this idea of ongoing income that we all love in multi-level, and insurance is this monthly recurring revenue. And if you're not thinking like building your business as an asset, then you're thinking about building your business as owning your own job. And you can actually do it both as owning your own sales job and owning your own agency manager job. Like you can build your business, right, to an agency where all you're doing is hiring just enough agents to replace the ones that are getting in your business. And you have a bad agency manager job. As far as jobs go, it's a great job. But compared to your time, you've got your own agency manager job. And how do I know this? Well, those of you that hire agents, you talk to agents that, they brag about, well, I had 30 guys under me in my agency 30 years ago. And I go, well, so are they still with you? Have you grown it? No, I got out of it. Why? Why'd you get out of it? Well, I hated babysitting agents. That's the clue, right? The clue that guy owned his own agency manager job. So you can build your business to own a job if that's what you want to do. But I'd rather build my business to own an asset that someone would want to buy. Okay. And again, an asset is something that someone else wants to value it to the point where they want to buy it and it still grows without you. And that's the whole idea of building your business as an asset, is build the business to the point where it doesn't need you, but it still grows because you put and hired enough people to put in place where you're able to buy your life back. Okay. So this is the whole idea of not hiring to grow your business, but hiring to buy back your time. See, because you can't personally outwork yourself to a better business. Like, dudettes, there are only 24 hours in a day, right? You cannot possibly work your butt off to maintain your agency or have a sales job. You can't only but do so many appointments a week, and then you're capped. Now, again, nothing against people that just love selling. I'm not again. I love you. I want you in my business, okay? Because I grow my business with people that just want to sell, right? But that's part of growing my business, right? That's part of hiring, right? Because the first level of hiring is hiring salespeople to replace your sales income. Okay, that's the first part of buying your life back. But I'll show you kind of a way to think about doing that, and hiring to grow an agency becomes part of this whole idea of replacing yourself and buying your life back. So here's this thing called the pain line. Okay, like you're going to be grinding and grinding and grinding on sales. Like, let's say you just get started, you're going to grind and grind on sales, but you're going to get to the point where, oh my gosh, I cannot manage my business anymore. I cannot, it's so hard to call pending and make sure my business, gets issued because I'm doing so many appointments, but then I got to manage my business. It's getting crazy and you just hate doing it. It becomes like, I can't do this anymore, right? It's called the pain line. Okay. And what this pain line tells you, and this is the way that the litmus test of knowing that you need to replace that part of what you're doing by hiring someone that doesn't make as much as you to take that off your plate. Okay. So it's called the buyback loop. So what happens is when you hit that pain line, you have to assess, okay, what am I doing that I hate doing, that I need to do, that someone else could do it cheaper than me, right? And the simple one is managing your pending. So I need to hire someone to manage my pending, right? So you audit what you need to get rid of, and then you transfer it to someone who could do it for cheaper than you. Okay. And then you have to fill the time with doing more of what makes you the most money. Okay. And that's a simple analogy, but it's the first one that most people get to is I got to hire an admin person to manage my business. You hire that admin person. Imagine, paying someone, I don't care, $12 an hour just to do mundane stuff of make sure business gets issued, $15 an hour, whatever it is. And then boom, you've got 10 more hours a week. Let's say it's 10 more hours a week to fill in with the thing that makes you the most money. Okay. And that's called the buyback loop. So let me show you what that looks like. I'm probably not going to have enough time to go over all these concepts. I'm going to try to kind of touch on them. So this is the buyback loop. Okay. What happens is you hit to the pain line right here, and then it's like, I can't do this anymore. Then you audit, what can I do to give it to someone else? And then you transfer it to that person. And then you fill it with things that move you on up. So you fill it with the things that make you the most money. It could be doing more appointments. Okay. So let's give you another example of a pain line you're going to run into. And this might sound sacrilegious, but this is what I did, is like, I hated dialing the phone. There's a point where I just cannot dial the phone anymore. I'm not going to dial. I have to dial, but it's just I spent so much time dialing to book appointments. That was like number 4 or 5 in the alliance back in the day as a number. And actually Stephen Davies would switch off 4 and 5, for the entire alliance. So I was a top producer. And so the one part I hated was I hated dialing the dadgum phone. Like some of y'all might love it. I never loved it. I was really good at it. That was the only problem. I was really good at it. So the pain was dialing the phone because I was dialing the phone 15 hours a week just to book my appointments. And so what I did was I said, I got to find someone else. I found my secretary, my admin person, who was great at bill collecting. She was a bill collecting machine back in the day. And she said, well, I could maybe help you out. I go, really? I go, I pay you per appointment or whatever. And so I transferred it to her. And then I was able to fill those 15 hours a week with doing more appointments and recruiting more. Do you see how that helped me? Now, she was really good. You have to transfer it to someone who is really good. Okay. And you have to go through enough people to find someone who's good. But here's the idea. 80%, someone who's 80% as good as you is 100% of you not doing that activity. And I started out where I was booking the appointments, but she would book appointments. And then there was a point where I was booking less appointments. She was booking more appointments. So I transitioned when I realized she got to be as good, if not better than me. But look, like I said, the other rule is 80% of you is better than you doing 100% of it, because it freed up 15 hours of my time, which I leveraged to do more. Okay. So where else does this buyback loop kick in? This is where you'll get to a point, I promise you, I don't care if you're doing 50 appointments a week. You're going to get to the point where, because remember, you're selling, and when you don't sell, you're not making money, because that's the only way you make money, if you're only selling, right? And so do you know that going on a vacation costs you money? Like, let's say you make $5,000 a week selling. when you go on vacation, not only does the cost of the vacation is a cost, but it's the opportunity cost of not doing that 5,000 a week. So let's say you spend 5,000 on vacation. Well, you're also not producing $5,000. So that vacation really costs you 10 grand. Does that make sense? Right? Well, I'll just catch up when I get back. Dude, really? Do you understand what you're saying? You're going to spend more time to make up the money you didn't make the time you're on vacation. Do you see the trap? You get deluded into thinking that you're in total control, but you are not in control because your job is in control of you, the job that you own, right? So you're going to get to the point where, and I've seen this happen, you're a top producer, all of a sudden you're not as a top producer. And the reason why is you don't love it anymore. You used to love it, but statistically, there's been studies that when you start not loving doing what you're doing, you no longer become really good at it. You don't. You're not as good as when you love and are passionate about something. And before you hit that burnout, you need to replace yourself. And unfortunately, most producers who hit burnout, they haven't replaced their income, and they have to keep grinding. And when they decide to hire agents to replace their income, remember, you hire to buy your life back, not to grow your business. And so before you hit burnout, you need, I'm urging you, I'm begging you, I'm shaking you right now. You need to replace yourself, right? You need to replace yourself with other salespeople. Okay, so that when you finally hit that burnout, you've got your income already replaced by override income. Does that make sense? Like, don't do it too late. When you do it too late, then you hate what you're doing selling and you're not as good at it. And then, and let's say you start having children and you're not, let's say you were single and you're kicking butt, then you start having kids, and then tell me how fired up you are doing 40 appointments a week at that point with young kids at home. You probably aren't, right? So you got to figure out how to buy your life back. Well, I'm telling you, it's too late by the time you have not hired one person. Okay. So again, the whole idea is, the premise is you're building your business as an asset. So that's another thing, that your frustration level gets to the point where, man, I need to replace my sales income with override income, right? Because then you start realizing, hey, I'm making way more money now. Now that I have more time, I'm making more money. Now my hourly rate is a lot higher. So this buyback loop works at every level in the business, even to the point where I need to develop my managers so they're doing what I'm doing and they're thinking the way I'm thinking, where your business is growing beyond you. And then you're sick of recruiting, right? The pain of, man, I'm tired of doing 15 to 20 interviews a week. I need to find someone else to do my interviews for me. And this is where your ego sometimes gets in the way. It's like, there was a point where I thought I was God's gift to interviewing and hiring and recruiting, and I'm pretty darn good. I'm really good at it. But I was spending 20 hours a week actually personally interviewing agents and getting them started. And it's like, I can't do this anymore. And so I hired a couple of recruiters that were 80% of me, but it was 100% of me not doing. Can you imagine getting 20 more hours a week? And so the 20 hours a week, everyone thinks, oh, you're going to spend all your time, in the business. No, man, I'm spending more time for my family. And I'm devoting some of that time, because I make so much per hour now, into my business. So in other words, it's okay to spend more time with your family, hanging out with friends, getting involved in your spiritual life, doing things that you love to do, but also spending that other time more in your business. Everyone has this 24/7 mentality. Why don't you do this? Why don't you, be able to make the same kind of money on seven months? It's 24/7 is working 7 months, and doing 24 appointments a month. Think about it like that. Can you do that right now? I don't even have to do that anymore. But that's the idea of this whole feedback loop mentality. So let me give you a kind of an idea. I promise I'll get done at 45 after, okay? Um, so this is called the drip matrix. And what this is designed to help you understand is everything you're doing sits in this quadrant, one of these four quadrants, okay? And so what is this y-axis up here going from top to bottom is the activities you do that makes you the most money. Okay, the top here is stuff that makes you the most money. Down here makes you the least amount of money or zero money. And then this x-axis going from zero to, to the right are things that light you up. So the more you go to the right are things that light you up and feed you and get you fired up about life. The things on the far left are the things that suck the energy out of you, that you just cannot stand doing it. And it sucks the life out of you, okay? So here's what are you doing that fits in these four quadrants? So the delegation stuff, right? The delegation stuff that you're doing and by the way, let me say one more thing about this, because now we're talking process, and this is something I learned in my software business. In Atomic Habits, the book by James Clear, he says winners and losers all have the same goals, all these lofty goals of what they want to accomplish. But he says that you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems, your processes that you put in place. That's the whole key to this, is documenting the processes, standing operating procedures, the playbook, whatever you want to call it, that can be duplicated by someone else. And as long as you put the processes that work, then you run your business by the process. Like, Nick Saban always talks about, if I can get a player to fall in love with the process of winning and practice, I'll get them winning or competing for national championships, right? That's all we're talking here, okay? Now let's go back to this matrix. The stuff on the bottom left are things that will suck the life out of you, right? The things that don't make you money, right? Like menial tasks, like, all the admin work you're doing in your business, like doing travel arrangements for your travel schedule, responding to emails, like all the stuff that you can delegate. This stuff you can get rid of off your plate and have someone else do it for a lot less than what it costs you, right? Now you move up to the replacement. So this replacement quadrant are things that make you a lot of money, but they suck the life out of you. There's just drudgery to you, right? Even though it makes you a lot of money. And I mentioned a couple of those, like booking my own appointments and then actually running appointments. I used to love running appointments. Then I did not, because it was a grind, and I just could not do the grind anymore. Thank God from Jump Street, I hired agents, man. I hired agents from Jump Street. So I didn't have to be in the field for about 3 years, right? Like I totally got out of the field within 2 to 3 years, right? And I've been in business 23 years, if that tells you anything. So these are high value things in the upper left, right? Things that you need to get rid of, but you got to be careful on how you delegate or how you replace yourself here, right? You got to replace yourself with, like I said, 80%, but you got to be careful what you're replacing yourself with in the things that make you the most money. Okay. Now the bottom right are the investment quadrant. So these are things that light you up, but may not make you a lot of money, like physical activity, time with your friends and family, hobbies, personal development, those types of things that feed your soul. It may not make you money, and it sometimes may not make you money now, but could later, professional development, personal development. We all need investment time, and it's okay, right? You don't make a lot of money from it, but it's investment in you. So where do you ultimately want to be? You want to be in the production quadrant, where you're doing the things that light you up, makes you the most money, right? And the marketplace responds by giving you that money. You get paid a ton of money for this, right? And this is where you need to live your life, because you'll live your best life here, right? You'll spend less time working your business and more time with your family. It'll make the most money you've ever made, like I am right now. Like I can't tell you, I've just been very blessed income-wise because I've implemented these principles. And I'm not going to brag about that because, again, it's been working for me. That's all I got to say. Now, how do you know what your time is worth? Because this is all about this is the most important thing I can share with you right here, right? Is what is your time worth? So let's talk about what your time is called, their buyback rate. Look, you should not be performing any tasks that you could outsource for 1/4 of your currently effective hourly rate. So how do you know what your hourly rate is? Well, take your pre-tax income last year or last 12 months. And, in this case, let's say you're making 50 grand a year, divide it by 2,000, then divide that by 4, and then you have $6.25 an hour to pay someone to do the things that you should not be doing, right? Because your income, your hourly rate with 50,000 times 2,000 is what, right? 50,000 divided by 2,000 hours. Whoops. 50,000 divided by 2,000. So you're $25 an hour. Okay. Now look, you're probably only working 5 hours a week, honestly. And if you come at me and say, well, who could I hire for $6.25 an hour? Maybe your spouse. Okay. She or he probably wouldn't appreciate that, but your spouse also can be a helpful addition to your business, right? But never hire family unless you're willing to fire them too, right? So what do you need to do? Well, I promise you, man, if you're working part-time, you should be at 100,000. Honestly, you should be at 100,000 or more if you're seriously doing the things that Stephen Davies is teaching you. You have no excuse if you're even part-time with us. If you got 20 hours a week in this, you should be at 6 figures plus. So then your buyback rate, $12.50 an hour. You're making 200,000, it's $25 an hour. In other words, who can you hire to get rid of stuff for $6.25 an hour, $12.50 an hour? And what you do with that money is that it buys back your life so that you can spend more time doing the things that make you the most money. Remember, the whole idea here is you're not hiring to grow your business, you're hiring to buy back your life. And what happens when you buy back your life, gang, is that you will live your best life. And you now have a framework to continue to live your best life and to continue to make more money and continue leverage your time that you have so that you can do the most important things. And that includes spending time with your family, your worship life, et cetera. So anyway, I'm sorry I took too long. There's so much more here, but I just want to lay some of the stuff on you. I'm done. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Alex. We really appreciate it, man. It was so great to have you on the call. We have a group chat, and we are having a bunch of people sending screenshots and notes and things that they all took away. So it's going crazy over here. So we really appreciate it, man. Thank you.
God bless everybody. Take care. Thank you.
See you, man.
Okay. Bye.
All right, guys. Well, let's go take these notes that we got and let's go knock it out of the park.